Welcome to episode 12 of Petey's awesome guest panel. My guest at this time is a Power Ranger legend, if I do say so myself. Not only the Zeo Yellow Ranger, but she was also the original Yellow Turbo Ranger. And like I said before, grew up watching her, so I'm a huge fan, and it's so a pleasure to have her. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time is Miss Nakia Burrise. Nakia, how are you?
Oh, hi. Thank you. That was such a pleasant introductory. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Anytime. And my first question is, it's more of like a cliche question, but I'm going to ask it though. But how did you get into acting?
I have been performing since I was little, literally. I used to watch the Carol Burnett show, which is probably before your time, but I would watch the Carol Burnett show, put up sketches and skits in front of my parents and make them watch me. And I'd force my brother to perform with me. I got into acrobatics and everything at a young age. I just always enjoyed performing in front of people and making people laugh. So that's just what I love to do.
Ah, very cool. Now we're going to get into some Power Ranger questions here. How did you take me to the audition? Like when you first auditioned for Power Rangers, take me to that day. How'd it go?
Well, I get an audition for Power Rangers. I did not know what Power Rangers was at the time. I was a college student in my junior year in college at UCLA. So I didn't watch much television. So I wasn't aware of what Power Rangers was. I got a script. They told me to wear yellow. I did not know I was replacing anyone. I did not know I was going to be a Power Ranger necessarily. I just knew that it was a part and it could possibly be a series regular. So I went into the audition and I remember thinking afterward, um, I remember going into my audition and then getting into my car and then tossing the script behind me and just trying to leave it behind me because I just didn't want to worry about it. Because, in this industry, you can end up worrying about every single audition that you are a part of. And I decided at that point I was not going to do it. And so then I get a call back 2 weeks later. And I was like, oh, wow. So my first audition was probably a couple of hundred girls. My second audition, there was about 40 of us. My third audition, it was down to 7 of us. My fourth audition was a screen test, and it happened to be with Catherine, and that is the first time I met Catherine. So she screen tested with 3 of us, and I later found out that the producers had actually talked to her and asked her what recommendation she would give as far as the 3 of us, and she said she chose me. She felt like she had more chemistry. Well, as you can tell nowadays, we're best friends, sisters. But yes, so I had my fourth callback with Catherine, and then I had my final when it was down to 2 of us with Shiki Levy, who was the executive producer at the time, and then he ended up choosing me. Amen.
Ah, very cool. Now, what are some of your favorite memories like working on Power Ranger Zero, whether it's off screen or on screen, like just memories of in general?
Um, I have a lot of really great memories, but one of the most memorable ones is I think it was my very first time in the command center. So I had just gotten the job. I show up on set and I'm standing in the middle of the command center. And I remember just looking around in awe. And what the audience can't see is that there's probably about 50 people surrounding the command center staring at this new yellow Power Ranger to see if I'm going to be good enough to keep my job. So there was a lot of nerves going on, but I was so excited, just so excited and so blessed and honored to be a part of this franchise. I just remember standing there looking, I was just in awe. So that is a very memorable time. And just all of the moments that we had behind the scenes that you guys didn't get a chance to see because we were truly a family. We saw each other Monday through Friday, sometimes on weekends. So we were just tightly knit. And when that ended after 2 years, it was, Kat and I in the shift into turbo, the passing of the torch, we were boohooing like the entire time. And so they had to keep cutting. And so if you ever go back and you look at that episode, they start to film from behind because our eyes were so swollen from crying that they were like, oh gosh, we're just going to have to film from behind. But yeah, we were so sad to leave because we just didn't know what was going to happen from beyond that.
I see. And before we get into Turbo questions, because I absolutely loved Turbo, it was one of my favorite series of the franchise. I mean, my top 3 will always be Mighty Morphin, obviously, is number 1.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Turbo and In Space.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and I was so happy that that you finally were able to be part of a movie because you were part of the Power Rangers Turbo movie. Talk about that, like filming that and like just the memories of doing that.
So that was my first motion picture. I really didn't know what to expect. David Winning was the original director for the film, but I think it was about 6 weeks in, I guess the team at large, the executive producers and owner, Saban and Shiki Levy, who were over Power Rangers, were not pleased with what was being filmed, I suppose. And so David Winning ended up being replaced, and Shiki Levy, who's the executive producer, ended up directing the rest of the film. So a lot of the things that David Winning had originally directed was cut from the film. We had some amazing fight scenes that you guys did not get a chance to see. We had an amazing campfire scene where it just really, you got to see us as people a little bit more. Like you really got to hone in on who we were as people. It was a very intimate time that ended up being cut. There were a lot of really great scenes that ended up being cut from the movie, which all of us really, really hate it, but it is what it is. We didn't have a final say in it all, but it was a great experience. 25, 26 years later, who could say that, people would still remember who I am. So I'm so blessed to have that opportunity to even be a part of it.
Very cool. And one of my favorite scenes, though, I mean, it used to terrify me as a kid. It terrified me more than when Kat snuck up from behind and attacked Tommy in the Falcon sword. But this was probably the scariest scene I've seen in Power Rangers, and that was seeing Amy Jo Johnson and Austin St. John turn evil and then battling in that lair of Divatox. I just want to
Yeah.
get you a film in that scene.
So I really didn't work with them on the set. Whenever you saw us in the suits, those were our stunt guys. I saw Austin and Amy Jo in passing during the movie. I got a chance to work with Austin St. John when he was the Sixth Ranger on in Zeo, when he played the Black and Gold Ranger. But I really didn't get a chance to speak with either of them during the movie. They'd be filming in one location, and we'd be filming in another location. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. And no, but I definitely got to say to Nakia that I absolutely loved the Turbo movie, and I'm gonna share something funny too, like a cool story. Like, you remember the tracking device that you guys had in the Turbo movie? Like, I think it was like it was like it turned into a gun, I think, and it was like a track thing. I think Jason David Frank was having it in the movie. Like, he was using it to track down, I think, the imprisoned. You remember, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
I actually got one of those for a toy for Christmas in Christmas of '97.
Really? Do you still have it?
It's somewhere in my house, in my Brooklyn house. Yes.
That's amazing. Do you still have it encased or is it opened? And
Oh no, it was opened.
okay, that's awesome.
Yeah,
You're
like
gonna have to tag me in that photo. I'd love to see it when you're back at your Brooklyn home.
I'm gonna try to find it. Like, I used to have, like, because me and my sister were a huge fan, like every single day, from, like, on the weekdays, or the weekends, like on the weekdays after school at 3 p.m. just tuning in watching Zeo or Turbo on Fox Kids. It was so cool.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you for all the memories you gave me as a kid, though, for the Zeo and Turbo memories.
Oh, it's my honor. Thank you so much.
And speaking of Turbo, though, I got to ask you, memories of filming Turbo, because you were, like I said, you, Kat, Jason, and Adam, I believe Adam, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were the
Well,
original.
Adam's real name is Johnny Young
Got it,
Bosch.
pardon me.
Yeah.
But you guys were the original Turbo Rangers, and then you passed the torch to the second Turbo Rangers. But I do have some of my favorite episodes, the ones you did. But I want to know, what were some of your favorite memories working on Turbo, and favorite episode you did on Turbo?
Shadow Rangers. I loved Shadow Rangers. That was a lot of fun because I got to fight myself. Well, I got to fight my stunt guy who played me, which was a Japanese man who dressed up as a woman. So that was one of the best episodes for me. Another episode I enjoyed being the disc jockey. I enjoyed being the DJ. It was a lot of fun. So Mission Impossible was really, really cool too. So those are, I would say, my two favorite episodes in Turbo.
I like the Shadow episode, but one of my favorite episodes I like, and it's a two-part episode too, would be Honey, I Shrunk the Rangers, because I
Oh,
love
that was fun.
now, can you take me like behind the scenes on how that was done though? Like how was it a screen, like a green screen, like the show like the Shrunkenest with you, Blue Centurion, and the Rangers?
So it's camera tricks. What they would do was they had really big objects that would be carved out, and they would make the camera down. They would put the camera down here, and the object would be right up here. Oh, let me try to get it in the camera. So it would make it appear as if this is really big. So it's really a camera trick that you do. So if you just bring your camera way down here and you stand over here, then you appear a lot larger than you are. So a lot of it was just camera tricks. And then we also did have some oversized objects that they carved out of different things. I think was there an apple in that episode or some kind of, yes.
Because it's
Yes.
Talk.
Yes. So there was a huge apple that they had carved out of, what was that? It was a very not cardboard. I can't remember what kind of material it is, but it's a material that can just be tossed. It's not very heavy. It's styrofoam. It was styrofoam carved apple that was huge. And so when the camera's down here, then it appears to be even more large than it is.
I see. And I remember one scene in that episode where I was like, and it was when you were in danger because, Deep Talks has that lizard-like tongue. And then you see that trying, guess who's coming to dinner. And then she used the tongue to, attach her tongue onto you. And she was trying to do, I was like, as a kid, I was like, no.
We were like, no, too.
Also, because this is an open forum, you are free to talk about or plug anything or endorse anything you want. So now is the time you could say, anything you want.
Well, thank you. Tune in. Have you watched our Power Rangers playback with Kat and Nakia?
I love the show. I follow it every week. It's, like whether it's, new episode or old episode, you guys are great.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have Power Rangers playback. Kat and I started this back in March, I believe we launched it, and we watch Power Ranger episodes on this Wednesday. Actually, we're going to have Jason Font. He's going to come on live. And answer any questions, and we're just going to have a great time. We have a cook-off. We have Who Knows It Best, which is game show trivia. Just check out our YouTube channel, Power Rangers Playback, and that is actually the title of the link as well, Power Rangers Playback channel of YouTube. So check it out. Yeah, we also have membership available. So those that are members, they get special treatment. They get Zoom meetings. They get so many perks as being part of our members. So check us out.
Very cool. And speaking from a fan of Power Play, because I think it's a great show. I think Nakia and Catherine are a dynamic duo, but that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Definitely tune out Power Play. It's an excellent, awesome show. And,
Power Rangers Playback is the name.
Pardon me. Sign getters, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I do want to say before we conclude, though, I have to say thank you so much for the memories you gave me, like as a kid watching Turbo and Zeo, because I grew up, Power Rangers was my one thing growing up after school, tuning in Fox Kids every 3 p.m., 4 p.m. It was like one was like an old episode, then it was a new episode at 4 p.m., which was really cool. And Nakia, like I hope, like down the road I have more like Power Ranger guests. I'd love to have Catherine on here. I'd love to have other people. I'm actually in next week. I'm actually interviewing Amy Rowe, who played Trakina. So that should be really
nice.
Cool.
She's sweet. She's a sweetie pie.
Great woman. Like I'm proud to call her my friend. I'm proud to call you my friend because it's just an honor, like an absolute honor.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much.